Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions for round 3 of the No Limit Racing series. Dirt Pro late models at a whole bunch of iRacing's best dirt ovals. We're at Cedar Lake Speedway for this third round of the season. A clay oval that absolutely throws up some exciting racing no matter what you drive around it. Live on YouTube, it's myself, Rhys Southpaw Racer Gardner, and Daniel Zippy Salmon is alongside me in the comms box and handling production behind the scenes. Well, Zippy, 3 rounds into the season, we've already been to Lanier and the dirt track at Charlotte, and I'm looking forward to presenting you Cedar Lake with Jackson Whittington leading the points standings as things stand. William Kirk and Dustin Regan are fighting over second spot for the moment.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly. It's quite a battle, actually. Don't get me wrong. Whittington is absolutely, he's doing quite domination there. But Kirk and Regan, as you said, very much fighting. Actually, another fight going on in fourth place between Henderson and Feeney. Actually, speaking of which, I do not see Henderson yet. No, he is just joining the session as well now. Having a little bit of a later start here, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of drivers still straggling in here. But as we take a look, Rhys, let's take a quick peek at the schedule now that you mention it.
Yeah, indeed. We're at Cedar Lake here on April Fool's Day, with Eldora Speedway being the next round in 2 weeks' time, and then we go weekly from then on. Volusia, Fairbury, Lernerville, Knoxville, and Lucas Oil. Basically all of the most high-profile dirt ovals on iRacing. So if you are interested in driving some late models, make sure to get your registrations in and inquire about this series, because they're always looking for more drivers, and you're going to have a fun time no matter where you place. The fields have been small thus far, but the racing has certainly been exciting.
Oh, very much so, ladies and gentlemen. And I've got to say, currently nobody out on track at the minute. So I hate to break it to you, you're going to have to look at the wonderful people that is myself and the one and only Southport racer, Mr. Rhys Gardner. And I've got to say, Rhys, I was telling you a little bit before we went live on air, I actually had a go at trying to drive these cars around Cedar Lake. And it's fair to say, it's kind of like golf. Albeit none of the goofy outfits, none of the stupid sticks, and without the nice lady coming around and bringing you alcohol. I mean, that's real. That's the real reason a lot of people go golfing, ladies and gentlemen. But I got to say, on that aspect, it's a lot harder than it looks. And certainly myself, I did enjoy it, but I think certainly, we've got to really realize that these cars, these machines have so much power. And it's not necessarily going to be fully understood to those guys at home. Honestly, I was thinking, you know what, I'm a competent driver. I can slide a car. I've got rallycross experience. And ladies and gentlemen, it's fair to say, I was wrong.
Yeah. These things, they produce a lot of power. It is the pro late model, so it's the sort of mid sort of model. It goes limited, pro, and super with increasing engine capacities and levels of power. And all of the dirt oval cars are rear-wheel drive, so you don't have that four-wheel drive to sort of pull you out of the turns. You have to slide your way in, control the slide on the way through, try to keep the car as straight as possible, and be very careful on the throttle on exit. You got to be careful of how you use the brakes through the corners as well, because the brakes are basically what you use to set yourself up for that initial slide on turn in.
Certainly, I did find myself, I was maybe a little bit too keen on the power. It was certainly, oversteer was a thing, ladies and gentlemen. It did occur, and I think I personally managed 2, if not 3 laps in a row without binning it. So it's fair to say, yeah, I definitely sucked at that, ladies and gentlemen. We've definitely got a lot more talent out on the racetrack tonight. As we're going to take a quick look here, ladies and gentlemen, we can see James Dorr currently out on track. He's out there in practice. I say that, he's in the pits right now. Maybe it's Jared Miller I can see. Yep, that's Jared Miller. He's out and about and then in a little bit of practice there in that number 70 machine.
Yes, indeed. And I suppose you mentioned earlier that you couldn't see anyone out on track, but I could on my end. And it's probably worth pointing out to you, Zippy, that in practice sessions in dirt, drivers are split into groups, because if they were all on track at the same time in practice, then it'd obviously be a very clogged up racetrack. So drivers are split into their own practice groups. And so if you haven't got a group highlighted, then you might be missing out on that action. Regardless, Dustin Regan currently out there and running the top, riding the cushion as it were, and finding his way around this place very nicely. 12.9 seconds is his quickest lap in practice thus far. We've only got 20 seconds remaining in the practice session before we have our 5 minutes of qualifying, over which drivers get 2 laps to set their times for the heats.
Well, certainly some interesting stuff going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Just taking a quick look at making sure the stream's going okay. Seems a little bit buffety on my end, so just having a quick look there, ladies and gentlemen, and it all appears to be fine on my end. I think it's just my preview, ladies and gentlemen, but definitely let me know at home if you're finding that to be a little bit. Maybe, Rhys, you can see it on your end, but certainly on the sim side, everything looks to be good. Worst case scenario, we will restart the stream for you and just try and get that sorted out. Certainly some interesting things going on, but that is indeed the end of the practice session, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're going to get into the lone qualifying, and let's see who's going to be going out first in this this field. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like Garrett Hummel, one of the first to take to the track.
Yeah, Hummel was the first to register for the practice session as well, so let's see what he can do. In practice, he was able to also set a 12.9 second lap time. In fact, looks like second fastest of them all, so he's looking quick here at Cedar Lake, and hooray, away and through we go for the second lap here. Hummel setting a 13.3 for his first lap, but a little bit of contact across the wall there. It looks like he might have been able to have that second lap count potentially. I'm not too sure, but regardless, it does seem like that second lap did not count. He ended up just tagging that concrete, and it's easy to do at Cedar Lake. It's a very tight oval here. In metric units, it is merely 600 meters long, and the wall through turns 1 and 2 there, you see the pit exit there at turn 2. If you're running the high line, you've got to be careful of hitting the end of that wall.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to take a very quick break very quickly, just see if we can figure out what's going on this end, and we will be right back very shortly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on. I do believe we have indeed returned.
Well, we shall see if you are all receiving the pictures, and it should be nice and smooth now. All right, lovely stuff.
Sorry there, Rhys. Apologies for the delay there, ladies and gentlemen. Generally, don't tend to have too much go wrong, certainly with the hardware we've got over here. Just a little bit of a bug, I guess. But you know what? We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And Leander, I take it everything is good on that end. And definitely cheering on William Kirk there, actually, as I believe that is indeed the end of qualifying. Rhys, let's take a look at this absolutely fantastic grid.
Yeah, indeed. So 30 seconds still remaining in the qualifying session. They'll be split into their heats very shortly, but Jackson Whittington running the fastest time in qualifying, a 13.118, which isn't too far off what he said in practice. James Dorr setting the second fastest time, with Dustin Regan in third, Mike Henderson fourth, Garrett Hummel running at the top 5 times, Jared Miller 13.5, with the double O of Ben Wilson, only driver to not set a time in practice other than Thomas Hall, setting a 13.635. And then we had William Kirk, Kenneth Feeney, and of course Thomas Hall, who joined the session in qualifying. Well, they've been split up into their heats, and looks like we can go through the specific grid for Heat 1 now. Jackson Whittington, of course, starting on pole for this one, with Dustin Regan alongside him on the front row, Garrett Hummel and Ben Wilson on row 2, with Kenneth Feeney rounding out our 5 cars to take to the start here. This is the biggest grid that No Limit Racing has seen thus far. 10 drivers in the session, and we will have 2 heats of 5 cars each to set the grid for the feature, Zippy. I'm looking forward to this.
Certainly myself as well, Rhys. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very much, I'm less than a novice in these cars, and very much, I'm enjoying the ride so far. Definitely I'm glad I had a chance to take them out and drive it, but definitely a bit too much machine for the likes of my antics, especially that right foot. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure it's going to be a belter, and championship leader Jackson Whittington, he is one of the higher I-rating drivers in the field, and certainly with 2,364 I-rating, the guy is packing a punch. But don't get me wrong, one little mistake and it could indeed end in catastrophe for the 511 car.
Oh, it certainly could. And as they come through turns 3 and 4, you're going to get a view of pit entry very shortly. Coming through turns 1 and 2 here, start-finish line right there. But look up high when they come through the corner here. See how the pit entry blends off? If you run a bit too high, you're going to run straight into those tires there. Very unconventional pit entry and exit here at Cedar Lake. So if you need to go to the pits for whatever reason, yeah, make sure that you're not going too hard in. Regardless, it is time for the start here, and Whittington leads us away. Lovely start as the heat begins, and it seems like Garrett Hommel is going to try and challenge into turn 1, but not much to be done. Plenty sideways from Dustin Regan as well. Feeney and Wilson keeping their cars nice and straight at the back of the field. It's not netting them a whole lot of time, but that conservative driving style will probably prove to their benefit in the feature.
Well, certainly these guys are absolutely sending it, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see there, it looks like Garrett Hommel starting to apply a bit of pressure there to the back of the 511 car of Jackson Whittington. It is a 42 versus the 511. And you see Dustin Regan looking to try and get in the action a little bit further back. He's currently one place down from Garrett Hommel, as I believe something may have happened there back there with Ben Wilson and Kevin Feeney. And I believe Kevin Feeney has indeed had an accident. Oh, dear.
Yeah, looks like Feeney wasn't able to get it straightened off on the exit of the corner. Was a little bit of a miscommunication between those two. I think he ran into the wall, but regardless, Whittington and Hommel, they are fighting hard here for the win in Heat 1 with 3 laps remaining of the 8 laps projected. This is going to be a fun fight. He's trying to get to the inside as Hommel, but Whittington is just nailing the exit of every corner.
Absolutely incredible battle so far. Actually putting one of the best battles we've seen so far at No Limit Racing. And I've got to say, the huge props there to Garrett Hommel for being able to not just hang with him, but certainly apply the pressure. And it is indeed making for some great viewership here on Pit Road Productions. And you can see there, it looks like they're on the white flag lap. Ladies and gentlemen, if Hommel's going to get it done, and he's almost had a bit of contact there with Whittington, and it looks like Whittington's going to get away with it.
Yeah, looks like he will. They're still on lap 8 for the time being. White flag and checkered flag in the air. And, well, you can tell that Garrett Hommel is going to be giving Jackson Whittington one heck of a race when it's time to go to the feature. That's what happened to Ben Wilson. He just had some trouble getting the car turned up high, and he had to bring it back into the lane. Well, that's going to be that for Heat 1. Whittington wins from Hommel. Dustin Regan, solid podium with Wilson and Feeney, both unfortunately retiring from the heat. Weren't able to make it 4 laps from the end. Heat number 2 has James Dorr on pole position with Mike Henderson alongside, Jared Miller and William Kirk on row 2, and Thomas Hall. No projection of his pace to be talked about for the time being. He wasn't in the server in practice and did not set a time in qualifying. So starting from the rear of the grid, I'm interested to see what Hall can do.
Oh, absolutely. And just for a little bit of background, ladies and gentlemen, he's rocking 1,471 I rating, so he's definitely not a novice in this field. In this split, actually, we've got Mike Henderson. He's rocking 2070, so in theory, he is the most potent driver. He's a little bit far back there, actually, showing down 2 positions while they're going on that pace lap. But I've got to say, this is going to be a really interesting battle. We have 3 poor drivers here. Very similar in I rating, certainly close enough that things are going to get interesting. And I do wonder, can William Kirk, he's the novice here in the grid, but definitely one of the most supported. You got Layenda there in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us and also for helping us make sure we got this stream up and running correctly for you. You know what? I'm thinking he can really either learn from this or potentially capitalize as these guys start to get spicy.
Yeah, indeed. Dirt racing is always chaotic, always pedal to the metal. So if the drivers ahead make a mistake, and you're there to take advantage, you'll be able to get a massive run on everyone. Speaking of massive runs, how about James Dorr as he got things going in car 78? It's on for second between Jared Miller and Mike Henderson as William Kirk tries his best to hold on now at the back of the grid. Thomas Hall has already made up one position here, but he is struggling there to keep the car straight. On the exits is William Kirk. It is on for the top three. James Dorr has not been able to get away from Miller and Henderson.
Well, certainly, I remember Jared Miller, actually, he was one of the spicy drivers to watch at the last round. It's fair to say he's putting in a very good running at the minute, currently up one position. Not quite able to give a full application there to James Dorr. As you see some different lines, it's almost like a beautiful line of Cucaracha, I guess. Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not a dirt racing expert, but look at that, as Jared Miller is taking a very high line and absolutely trying to slingshot his way past the 78 of James Dorr.
Yeah, so Dorr, you can see, is trying to stick down low. He's trying to get the geometric faster line and use a little bit of fresh clay down there, but there's a bit of a cushion that's starting to form up high, and it looks like Miller and Henderson are trying their best to hold on to that, but Thomas Hall has just passed Mr. Henderson for third, and he's trying his best to hold on to the position. Tell you what, Thomas Hall, big surprise of the night so far.
Well, as I say that, it looks like Jared Miller is still going hard at it with James Dorr. Actually, no, Henderson and Hall are still going at it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to switch the cameras out. Blimp cam, heli cam. Let's get all of the cams. As you see, very ulterior motives here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, so ulterior motives, ulterior lines, as these guys are still going hard at it. As Jared Miller applying even more pressure there to James Dorr. Hall and Henderson going hard at it. Two completely opposite techniques, ladies and gentlemen. And which one is going to pay off as Miller even closer there to James Dorr?
Oh, and that is the checkered flag. Dead heat almost across the line. There was only 900ths of a second in it between James Dorr and Jared Miller, and Thomas Hall managed to fend off Mike Henderson for third place. That was a great heat. I really enjoyed that one. So it's Dorr taking victory from Miller and Hall, with Henderson and Kirk coming across the line behind. All of the drivers that started that heat finished it, and now we can get straight into the features, Zippy. This is going to be a fun one indeed. All 10 of our drivers looking for glory. Jackson Whittington and James Dorr are your front row, with Garrett Hommel and Jared Miller on row 2. Dustin Regan and Thomas Hall, row 3. Ben Wilson, 7th. Mike Henderson, 8th. And rounding out our 10-car field, Kenneth Feeney and William Kirk.
I've got to say, that last race was, I think that was my favorite we've had so far for the No Limit Racing team. Certainly, well, oh my gosh, No Limit Racing League, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, it's getting more and more interesting to watch here in the booth, and I'm now looking forward to it. 10 cars at once. Ladies and gentlemen, I can see this being an absolute pandemonium of sheer talent.
Yeah, indeed. And, you know, if the grid sizes keep growing as time goes on in this league, we might be seeing upwards of 15, maybe 16 cars at least taking to the feature grid in future rounds. I hope that we get to that point, because there's nothing better than seeing a full field of cars on a minute dirt oval like Cedar Lake. Very high banked circuit as well, which we saw put to the fore in the heats. You know, you're able to hold on to that high line, but if you pile drive it in, you're able to get some great momentum.
Absolutely, and certainly, you know, if I'm going to pile drive something, Rhys, I don't know if I'd be able to do it in a car, but certainly, you know what, if you give me a big, gnarly, beefy hammer drill, I definitely, I'll get some work done. But right now, we are coming to the end of the pace up, ladies and gentlemen, and we will give a shout out to our sponsors very, very soon. Let's get this done and over with first. It's definitely been a very busy evening. Not so much leading up, but more so all at once. It's very much a bam, bam, bam. As there we go, bam, bam, bam goes Jackson Whittington, absolutely slingshotting that launch, as James Dorr looking to take the high line, and I think Garrett Hommel has absolutely snaked him on the inside.
Oh, he's trying his best to get it back, though. The number 33 of Dustin Regan trying to go for third spot. He's very sideways, loses some momentum in the middle of the corner, and so the top 4 are breaking away. It's Dorr versus Miller side by side for third, as Jackson Whittington again has not been able to get away from Garrett Hommel.
Well, certainly we do indeed have multiple battles happening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even sure which way to look right now, as Miller is going at it as well, trying to apply pressure. He's got James Dorr, and it depends which one's ahead, depending on which part of the course they are. You know, they keep switchbacking between themselves, and it looks like Hall's going at it as well. He's got a couple of battles going on. That's Henderson right behind him, and Dustin Regan looking to get in on the action as well.
Yeah, indeed. This is battling going on all the way through this field. Seems like James Dorr is comfortable holding that sort of mid to high line at the moment, at least through turns 1 and 2. He goes a bit lower through 3 and 4, but Jared Miller is going to be all over the back of him here. He is riding the cushion all the way up top as we check out Dustin Regan here, trying his best to keep Mike Henderson behind. Trying to keep Ben Wilson behind him, but tell you what,
contact.
It's getting close quarters there on the exit.
Oh, very much so. And William Kirk could indeed capitalize from this, ladies and gentlemen, if these guys do indeed come together. Certainly, it's a very equal split between Regan, Wilson, and Kirk, and they look like they're having a lot of fun. It's the closest battle on track right now. We'll have a quick check-in here with the leaders. Whittington currently pulling away. Hummel keeping him honest, but James Day, 3 wide, ladies and gentlemen. Day, Miller, and Hall all going at it as they come out of the turn.
Yeah, and for Thomas Hall, this is a difficult situation to be in because those 2 cars ahead are battling Miller and Dorr. They're trying their best to keep the pace up and stop Hommel and Whittington from driving away from them, but they're getting in each other's way a little bit. Ben Wilson, meanwhile, in the 00, still got Dustin Regan with him, and William Kirk is joining the party in the battle for 7th.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him absolutely throwing that car around there. I've got to say, my kind of antics, ladies and gentlemen. As we got, oh no, that's something happened with Hummel. Hummel is wounded, ladies and gentlemen, as the white flag goes off. And we have a white flag, a yellow flag goes off, ladies and gentlemen. As let's take a quick peek, see exactly what happened to Garrett Hummel.
Yeah, so it was on lap 10, and looks to me like he was trying round the outside. Oh dear. Yeah, it just looks to me like Whittington came up into him a little bit and put Hommel into the wall. And unfortunately, it looks like that might have done a number on the front suspension. So Hommel is in the pits right now and should be getting a fast repair potentially. Yeah, there he goes into the lane. Oh no, he's overshot his pit box. That's not ideal. Fortunately, he won't go any lower than 10th. Caution laps, of course, do not count under caution. So there we go, all done, and out he will come, end of line for Mr. Garrett Hommel. Looks like Dustin Regan has jumped into pit lane as well. Seems like he has some repairs to get done, but yeah, Hommel and Regan to the back of the grid here, starting the 12th lap when they come across the line to take the restart.
I gotta admit, that was epic fun watching that. I'm getting more and more into this race. What have you guys done to me? And certainly, you know what? A huge thanks goes to Mo for organising this, and as well P1 Sim Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for some sim gear, these guys are absolute pros. They take a lot of pride in what they do, and they certainly want to get you all geared up, set up, and certainly have a good chat with Kevin. He has been an absolute legend. But we're going to continue this race as Jackson Whittington takes it back to the green.
Yeah, he does indeed. It is on for 2nd. James Dorr trying to keep Jared Miller behind him. Miller sees the chance here to try and go for the runner-up spot. But round the outside, the number 70 is going to get the run. And oh, dearie me. Oh, wow. This is looking very close quarters. Thomas Hall finding a potential chance as well. There's barely anything in between these guys. Look at how hard they're working the wheel. And look at the exit there from Thomas Hall. He is up to 3rd.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. And it looks like Whittington's getting under a pressure there as well. What is it, Rhys?
The caution. It's back out again. It looks like Kenneth Feeney is touring into the pits, and seems like he clobbered the wall. So unfortunately for him, he has had to jump into pit lane. Yep, got a bit of air on the way into the pit lane, as you do. Kenneth Feeney not having the best of nights here. But, yeah, he'll limp into the pits at a great rate of knots, and he will find his way back out again. No, actually, that's not the case. It looks like Feeney's actually retired from the race. He's disconnected from the server, so we are down 1 car, unfortunately.
That's no fun. Come on, Kenneth. Let's keep in it, buddy. Let's keep in it. Certainly, I guess they've only got the 1 fast repair, and I guess if that's been spent, but he didn't take to the pits before, so I'm not sure why.
No.
You know, that seems a little bit premature at this point.
I think as he entered the pits so fast, he got a black flag. And well, Mo in race control did clear Kenneth's black flags, but I don't think Kenneth got the message and decided, it's probably best to just call it a night from here. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Kenneth could have been still in the race with us. Well, it's all much of a muchness in the end. It's a long season. There's plenty of opportunities for points. Plenty of opportunity for wins here as Jackson Whittington is going to take us to the start once again, lines it up and unleash the V8 power. And the battle for second will resume. The 78 of James Dorr in the red car, trying his best to hold off the yellow of Thomas Hall and the green of Jared Miller. There goes Hall defending from Jared Miller. And now Mike Henderson in the 313 will start to challenge for that fourth spot. This is, he's going to be looking at this and licking his lips. So much opportunity.
Well, at the minute, my eyes are on Miller and Hall as these guys are going hard at it. It looks like James Dorr is going to want them to keep fighting, ladies and gentlemen, so he can try and apply some pressure to the 511 of Jackson Whittington, as Jared Miller is very high up on the wall there, able to keep it in check. I've got to say, all of these guys absolutely serenading the throttle at this point, and the battle really, for me, between Jared Miller and Thomas Hall, the 93 versus the 70.
Yeah, this is where it's at. Yeah, this is so much fun. Excuse me, this battle as Whittington is starting to lose out a little bit. He's had to switch up high, and it's side by side between himself and Dorr for the lead of the race. Look at the slick that is formed there on the low line, that darker colored clay down low. Man, there's no grip on that, and so they're trying to feed the rear wheels onto the area just above it where the grip is. But now James Dorr finds himself potentially losing second as Thomas Hall has gotten the memo about the high line, and he's going to sweep round the outside to take P2.
Well, that looks like a bit of contact there between Thomas Hall and Jared Miller. Certainly, he's been called out a little bit in the chat for being an animal, has Jared Miller. But certainly, you know what? If he's an animal, I would not want him to be hunting me. But for him to be very potent here today at Cedar Lake, and certainly, you know, applying the pressure, keeping the guys honest, as it looks like Mike Henderson's getting into a battle further back as well with Garrett Hummel. Oh, contact!
Yes, all on. Oh, the 33 of Dustin Regan gets into the wall. The caution is out, and the front right is destroyed there for Mr. Regan. Oh no! Oh, he could have gone into pit lane just then. Oh dear. Well, he's missed that opportunity. Well, we'll see how it went down here. Just a little tap, and then another little tap from the other car, and those concrete walls are merciless here at Cedar Lake.
Yeah, I definitely don't get why he didn't go in the pits there, but you know what? Maybe it's a little bit of, you know, it's kind of when you get stitches,
muscle
ladies
memory.
and gentlemen. It's when you get stitches, you just want to be like, oh, everybody, check out my stitch. He's still rocking that thing around. Bless him. I feel bad for him. I think it's going to take him a little bit to get that car back to pit lane. Did he gate there? Yep, there we go. He made it. As he's just murdered a couple of mechanics in the process.
Yeah, we got Mike Henderson in there as well, getting his fast repair. That's actually the second time that Dustin Regan has been into the pit lane, and it looks like he might have saved his fast repair for that opportunity. So, fortunately, not a huge stop for him. Whittington's still leading the way, but Thomas Hall, he's been climbing up this field every single green flag period. Potentially, he could be challenging for the win by the end of this race. We're only going to have 11 laps to go when this restart comes.
I gotta admit, this is getting more and more fun. Like, I definitely want to see what happens if you get... How many cars can we have here, Rhys? Can you get 30 of these things at track at once? Like...
Sometimes, but it all depends on the track. Generally, field size in other dirt leagues I've commentated is about 24, but we shall see. Yep, it certainly will. But we're back to green flag, and oh no, William Kirk absolutely hammering the wall, and that has destroyed. Look, the front right is off the ground, and I think that's going to be the end of the line for William Kirk.
Let's take a quick replay and see exactly what happened there. Certainly there is the old 18 of yellow flags cause yellow flags. And I almost wanted to go a bit back a little bit further, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can take a peek. Okay, that's William Kirk there.
Okay, yeah, so he hit he hit the wall coming across the start-finish line, and that put his car on a trajectory that would put him into the outside wall at turn 1. Very well avoided by Dustin Regan there. He almost got cleaned up, as did Ben Wilson.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need to find his way back to the pits, but I've got to admit, that is a... yep, he's towed it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Understandably so, but... Unfortunately, again, ladies and gentlemen, I know it looks kind of easy from the seats at home, but I can promise you it is not. And this is a guy who's got rallycross experience, you know, both real life and in the sim, and I couldn't control these cars. I found it incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and, you know, trying to get your consistency up in the midst of learning how to drive these things is incredibly difficult as well. So I have a huge amount of respect for dirt racers. They have a real sense and feel for their cars and the track as well. You got to read that track surface all the way through. It is slicking up down low as we're back under green flag conditions. So if you want to try and go down low, you got to be careful. You're going to be losing some momentum, as Thomas Hall is finding out. It looks like James Dawes coming back at him to try and take second spot, and look at the groove there. That is beautiful stuff from James Dorr. He is absolutely flown back up to second spot, and now Hall is in trouble from Miller and Hommel, and Dustin Regan has joined the party too.
I could have sworn they were 4 wide for a second there, and it looked like Jared Miller gave a little bit of help there to Thomas Hall, getting a little bit of a tap up the rear end to help push him along, and it looks like the car right behind there, Jared Miller, looking to go and line it up again potentially. As you see there, battles happening throughout. It looks like Hommel is going at it with Dustin Regan there, now under attack from Mike Henderson. Battles happening throughout the field, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it going to be contact? It's incredibly close there. Regan right in front, and it looks like Henderson had to back out of it.
Yeah, he definitely did. 7 laps to go. Oh, okay. A little bit of a coming together there between Henderson and I think Ben Wilson, and they are losing touch with everyone else now. Got to try and get that speed back up, and it looks like things have calmed down a little bit up the front, but for 4th place, it's looking on as the caution flag is back out again. Looks like Mike Henderson has suffered a spin.
Yeah, we did see him get into a little bit of contact there. So there he's up. He's up on the high line. And, yeah, no, everything's looking good there. Oh,
yeah, wait for this. Yeah. Just left it a bit too late. Yeah. I can too. Just left it a bit too late to initiate the slide. The rear end got into the wall, and it was quickly followed by the front end of the car. And so Henderson has towed back to pits, and that's going to be yet another retirement. And then there were 7.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, attrition seems to be the name of the game at the minute, and certainly this is looking good for Dustin Regan and Ben Wilson. That's 3 people off the dock, making them, have a little bit of a gains there. But you know what? They still got to stay in it. There's still another 4 laps of this race to go, and anything can happen here at Cedar Lake.
Certainly can. Tell you what, Whittington could be under threat from James Dorr as things stand, because James has been using the groove up the top and the cushion to really throw himself out of those corners and get that momentum he needs down the straights. The caution has been extended by 1 lap. Looks like we're going to be allowing a couple of drivers an opportunity to regain some semblance of movement. William Kirk had to spend a minute in the pits or so, and unfortunately it looks like he's going to fall a lap down on everyone else. So looks like they won't be able to resolve that.
Well,
but regardless,
very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, a little thing that one of the sponsors is doing, that's P1 Sim Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, if you refer someone, they're actually sending out 3D printed little tags for your rig. Look, here's one of them for the league admin. So if you refer somebody and they race 1 race, they will send you one of these bad boys. I gotta say, I'm looking forward to mine coming out. Fair play, but just something that the sponsors really doing, which really helps boost the league there. You see Jackson Whittington having a little bit of fun there with the pace truck.
Yeah, indeed. And awesome that P1 Sim Sports has come on to bring those prizes, as it were, to people in this league. We've got our sponsors rotating up in the top right-hand corner as well. Big thanks to everybody who's getting involved with this league and helping us to bring this great show to you. Love a good old dirt race down here in Australia, and here at Cedar Lake. It's down to 5 laps to go as we get things going for the restart. Jackson Whittington immediately up high, defending from James Dorr. Here comes Jared Miller, making contact with Thomas Hall on the exit of the corner, but it was only light. Oh, the caution's immediately back out again. What's going on? Oh, Dustin Regan, front end of the car's destroyed.
Oh, dear. All right. Let's find out exactly what... Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, contact with Garrett Hommel on the exit of turn 1 sent Dustin Regan, unfortunately, into the wall. And then he was cleaned up by Ben Wilson, and running into it as well was Mike Henderson.
There you go. Here's another look. There you go. A little bit of contact, wall, and boom.
Yeah, that's a shame there. So Ben Wilson and Mike Henderson will both have some damage from that, but far and away the worst to come off it is Dustin Regan. Fortunately, he has managed to get another fast repair, and he will find himself towards the back of the field. But you can always make up a ton of positions in a short amount of time in a dirt race. You just got to hope that the stars align, as it were.
Well, not if I'm driving, you can't race, that's for sure. But I got to say, one of the things that Mo was very keen about doing when he started this league is he wanted it to be approachable for both, you know, seasoned vets and beginners as well. And I got to say, having those fast repairs really showing a bit of forgiveness there and definitely making it a lot more fun. So a huge thank you to Mo for doing that, and also as well played, sir, on that decision. As they go hot again, Jackson Whittington once again, he's on the top step, and Thomas Hall looking to mix it up. He's got pressure there from Jared Miller, and Garrett Hommel looking to get in on the action as well.
Yep, our top 5 all together as we have 4 laps to go. Oh no! That's Thomas Hall that's gone up and over and around, and a great night. Thomas Hall comes to an ignominious end. I'm not sure what went on there. It seems like he might have had a hardware problem potentially, because no contact was made. Just watch what the car does here.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is very weird. It's like the car just jerked to the right, and that wasn't an overcorrection thing either. So yeah, that's very weird for Thomas Hall. Tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to check out the cockpit view of that and see exactly what happened to the wheel. I'm not seeing... yeah, actually, it looks like his wheel might have disconnected, potentially. So that's a shame for Thomas Hall.
It definitely was. He was definitely proven to be a very potent racer throughout the night. As we see Ben Wilson taken to the pits, Dustin Regan, he's there in the pits, as is Thomas Hall. I got a feeling Thomas Hall will not be coming back out. Certainly if that's a hardware issue, it's fair to say he's currently brown bread, for lack of better words, ladies and gentlemen, as the race is going to continue. Whittington's out there, and I'm looking to see Regan get back on track. Certainly, you know what? That's another person out of the running. He needs to get back out there. Certainly Ben Wilson, actually, he's managed to get back out, ladies and gentlemen, at the back of the pack, no less, but he's still very much in it. Oh, it's going to be the end of his night, but we're going to go and check back in with Jackson Whittington. I got a feeling this guy... Like, we keep getting... They say yellows cause yellows, but I got to say, dirt oval racing, like, man, does it make it a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, certainly does. And you manage to get a full race out of it as well, because laps don't count under caution. You will get 35 green flag laps no matter what happens in this race. And I tell you what, there's only going to be 2 laps remaining when they get things started again. This is going to be a mad dash to the finish line here for No Limit Racing Round 3 at Cedar Lake. Just wait for the pace truck to make its way into the pits, and then Whittington can line things up here. Big throttle push on the way down through turns 3 and 4, and Whittington's gotten the best start possible for this final run to the flag. Gently does it for Jared Miller here as he makes contact with James Dorr on the way into turn 3. The battle for second is on. Who's going to win it? Garrett Hommel right in it. Could get onto the podium here on the final lap of the race. This is so good. Regan and Wilson. Oh no, Jared Miller goes to the infield as Jackson Whittington's going to come across the line to win the race here. James Dorr and Garrett Hommel are your podium, and Dustin Regan finds his way to 4th. What a change for Jared Miller. It all went wrong on the final lap.
Oh, certainly he was running hard all night, and certainly, hang on, I want to watch that again, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're going to do with this.
Oh, man. So, yeah, keep an eye here on Jared Miller, the number 70 car. Yeah, so there's the contact there, and then, well, he manages to keep the slide going, but you can tell there's probably something wrong with the suspension at that point. He slides it in, and then it's a bit too much of a slide coming into turns 1 and 2, and he ultimately has to pull it off the circuit. Yeah, I think there might have been some incremental damage picked up in that contact with James Dorr, and that's what put his race to an end. Still classified 5th, though.
Well, definitely, he was going hard at it all night, and you got to see here, ladies and gentlemen, it was an absolute battle. I'm really enjoying this part. You get such good little replays. There you go. There's the contact there with James Dorr, and I think, like you're saying, that's what unsettled his car. Look at all the corrections he's got going on, trying to keep hold of the thing. That car is definitely, I mean, don't get me wrong, these things are pretty loose on a good day, but I got to say, fair play to him. It's a beautiful parking job, and we've got to give a shout out to this young gentleman here, Dustin Regan, absolutely able to capitalize on that opportunity.
Yeah, indeed. Managed to nab himself a couple extra positions in those final couple laps. Remember, we saw Regan in the pits getting a repair done just a little earlier. Well, regardless, those are your results. Jackson Whittington, championship leader, once again coming home with a brilliant win, but he had to work for it. James Dorr and Garrett Hommel racing him hard to the end. Regan 4th with Jared Miller classified 5th. Ben Wilson in the 00 in 6th. Unfortunately, we had a few drivers who weren't able to make it to the end on the lead lap, Mike Henderson being one of them, and we had retirements from Thomas Hall, William Kirk, and Kenneth Feeney for various issues. Hall, of course, with a hardware issue, and Kirk and Feeney unfortunately picking up damage along the way. Well, looks like we've got our interviews ready. Zippy, who have we got up first?
Well, if you want to do the interview there with our race winner, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jackson Whittington.
Indeed, Jackson, welcome to the comms box once again. Another win on the board, but man, they were racing you hard for it this time.
Yeah, I figured I'd suck there, honestly. Finally figured something out the last 10 laps, then it just got caution ridden. It is what it is. It's the nature of Cedar Lake.
Yeah, it's a tough circuit for sure, but you know, we'll be finding our way to plenty more ovals over the course of this season that you'll certainly be familiar with. And regardless, you still came home with victory and maximum points from this round, so things went well.
Yeah, for the most part. It for sure scary though. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was certainly entertaining for us, but is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, Jackson?
Twisted Speed for consulting me and helping me get faster all around. It's awesome what they've done for me. 511 Designs for the wrap, B&D Motorsports, and B&B Golf Cart Service for everything they do.
Fantastic stuff, Jackson. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Jackson Whittington, they're winning the feature.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, absolutely fantastic job. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, having a little bit of a whoops moment. There we go. I understand you just lost your stream now. I just put myself in the interview room, ladies and gentlemen, but I do believe we have managed to successfully grab Mr. James Dorr. And I got to say, James, you are really getting in the battles today. Certainly, it looked like Thomas Hall was an incredible threat. Getting a little bit lucky there at your opponent's expense. They looked like a hardware failure for the 93 of James Hall. But I got to say, incredible drive. How did you approach it getting ready for Cedar Lake?
Just I kind of expected what the track was going to be like. Pretty simple. I mean, I kind of expected it, just from racing it a bunch, you know, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm very confused about that ending.
Well, I've got to say, I certainly took these things for a go, and it's fair to say you're a lot more talented than I am. Congratulations on the second place. Certainly, you had to fight very hard for that the whole evening, and what a fantastic job you did. But, James, before we let you go, is there anybody you need to shout out?
My friend Aiden Waters, he's a dub. He's a big dub. He helped me through this a lot.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was James Dorr, your second place finisher in the number 78 machine. Absolutely fantastic drive by him. Certainly under pressure for the entire race, but a good points haul nonetheless. Ladies and gentlemen, James Dorr.
Yeah, indeed. Fantastic job from James. And it was also a fantastic job from Garrett Hommel. Garrett, coming through that feature, it looked like you were under a lot of threat for that podium, but you managed to grab it back in the final laps.
Yeah, just got caught up in that little bit of a wreck in the beginning of the race, and just got to take it on the chin, so to speak. But start in the back and just try to muscle my way back up to the front.
The track was evolving quite drastically over the course of that feature. Running the high line at the end seemed to be the way to go, and especially in the middle of the feature as well. But that wall coming through turns 1 and 2, obviously in the back of your mind the whole time.
Absolutely, yeah. The bottom, in the beginning of the race was real good, and then about halfway through, everyone started sliding up, and that wall can come real fast if you're not paying attention and hitting those coming out of those turns just right.
Yeah, well, getting out of the turns just right, you certainly did, and it is a third place in the feature for you, Garrett. Anyone you want to shout out?
Just my, just the whole Discord high limit racing guys. These guys, I just randomly joined these guys, and they've all been super, super cool. And probably just my fiance for letting me do this while she's watching the kids.
Of course. Great way to spend an evening. Garrett, thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you guys.
Well, Garrett Hommel is going to celebrate that podium for sure, Zippy, and it looks like we have our league administrator in for a chat as well.
Absolutely, Mo. I've got to say, you've been putting in a lot of hard work to keep this league up and running. Certainly, as a client, you've been absolutely fantastic to deal with as well. But Mo, tell us a little bit about some of the sponsors you've been able to get on board, and take this time to really, highlight their absolutely fantastic services, of which I'm thinking of P1 Sim Sports.
Yeah, I definitely want to give a big old shout out to Kevin. I'm pretty sure he's probably watching tonight. But yeah, over there at P1 Sim Sports, I mean, it's like him and I have talked before. This is kind of just falling on to him and I on trying to keep this thing going and making it as good as we can get it. And, that also goes to, like 5-6 graphics and Fusion. Without these guys, we wouldn't be here talking right now. And, but yeah, I definitely want to give a big shout out to P1 Sim Sports, 5-6 graphics, and Fusion Setup Shop with helping us make this thing possible. It's just like next week, or our next race, which is April 15th. That's going to be another big race. That'll be our 50-lap mid-season championship with the P1 Sim Sports Pro Late Model Series we got going on.
Well, I'm fair to say I'm certainly looking forward to that. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get involved at home, we want to help you get there. So certainly give us a shout, either comment on the YouTube video, send us a message, however you see fit. If you want to send us an email, even pitroadproductionsinc@gmail.com, I will make sure that you get in contact with Mo and get you here in this race. And I tell you what, the next person who does, I'll pay you $5 entry fee for you. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? I want to see more cars on the grid. Certainly a lot of fun. I did try and recruit some people for you the other day, Mo, and certainly my driving talents were not going to do it. So instead, I'm going to throw a little bit of money at the problem just to try and get you some more drive. If in doubt, you pay the guy, ladies and gentlemen. That is the best way of doing it. And certainly, anybody else who is part of any of the Predict Road Productions shows, certainly we'd love to see some of you guys branch out and try this Dirt Oval series. I'm having a lot of fun commentating it, broadcasting it, and certainly it's been a learning experience. I'm very, very grateful to have a seasoned veteran like Rhys Gardner here in the booth. But Rhys, I gotta say, Cedar Lake, what an absolute belter.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite dirt ovals on iRacing. It provides such a unique challenge, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the league goes next. We have a full season that's going to be ending in May, so plenty more rounds to get your entries in and get on the track with No Limit Racing. So yeah, Zippy, I'm just happy that this round went off so well, and I'm looking forward to a couple of weeks' time.
Absolutely, myself as well, Rhys. I gotta say, I keep getting more and more into this. You guys have painted me. I'm now dirty, ladies and gentlemen, and dirty as in the dirt oval aside. I can hear Mo sniggering. That's fine. Absolutely, buddy. You can completely claim that, and you can be proud of that by all means. But Mo, before we actually get signed off, any closing thoughts from yourself on that race today?
Well, the big thing is I know we were had quite a few cautions tonight, but I do want to give a big shout out to the drivers. I don't know if you guys have caught on to this yet or not, but any dirt track car that you guys ever get to go watch, or even on here, I have the there is no mirrors. So these guys that are throwing the sliders, or like with Garrett and Mike getting into each other a couple times, going up to the wall, or even Garrett and Dustin. I just want you guys to picture, trying to throw that slider without a mirror, kind of like you don't know where that guy is.
Damn.
Yeah.
I got to admit,
It is definitely a test.
Any mirror I look at seems to break or start mocking me anyway, so it's fair to say, I'm used to having no mirrors, and then I used to have a BMW, so I didn't use turn signals either, ladies and gentlemen. But I think that's just gonna wrap it up from this here. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I guess Rhys, you're leading tonight. By all means, do the honors, sir.
Yeah, big thanks everybody for watching here on the Pit Road Productions YouTube channel. Make sure to tune in a couple of weeks' time for the next round of No Limit Racing. Obviously not the only series we broadcast here on PRP. We have quite the schedule. In fact, I believe we're going to be having Almeida Academy this weekend, so keep an eye out for that one in the F1600s. I will be on the show with Zippy, of course, once again. I'm Rhys Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box and producing behind the scenes here on Pit Road Productions. We'll see you next time.